The CEO of Flight Centre has backed controversial comments made by the boss of Virgin Australia regarding international borders. Virgin's Jayne Hrdlicka drew criticism for saying some Australians would die as a result of reopening international borders. Graham Turner says he doesn't believe the comments were callous, rather they were a practical assumption. I spoke to Graham a short time ago and asked whether deaths from COVID would only be avoidable if we keep borders shut for years.
Well, yeah, even if we do that, you've seen, even with hotel quarantine going on forever, there's going to be outbreaks. So it's inevitable we're going to have outbreaks, but it's almost more inevitable within the next 6, 12, 18 months or so. It's going to become endemic in Australia. So it's just going to be like the flu. If you remember, the flu 100 years ago was much more deadly than the coronavirus. So I guess it's just we've got to learn to live with it. And inevitably, some people, particularly unvaccinated people, if people don't want to get vaccinated, they are going to be hospitalised and a few will die.
Well, interesting those comments you make there. So Gladys Berejiklian has said no death is acceptable from COVID. Is this the difficult part of the conversation? Because yes, you mentioned flu deaths there. Do we perhaps accept other deaths without thinking about it, and it's sort of an unconscious accepting of that, but COVID, it's a more direct conversation?
Yeah, look, I think there's I don't want to be, I do think there's a political agenda here. And, if you're a politician, it's fair enough, no deaths acceptable. But if you take road safety, the same thing. Well, why aren't we doing a lot more for road safety? Because thousands of people die, and you could argue that could be preventable if you stopped a lot of the traffic and upgraded the roads and that. So, it's just one of those things we have to get used to. It's just another virus that's going to be circulating in our community, and the odd old or sick person or occasionally a young person will die from it. I don't think any expert would disagree with that. I'd be surprised.
Do you feel as though on international borders, Scott Morrison is less forward-leaning than he was previously?
Well, certainly the rhetoric is, and the narrative is, but I don't think anything's changed. They're still, with the budget release, they still talked about safe travel zones, and that's obviously what New Zealand is. There are almost certainly going to be more safe travel zones coming in over the next 6 months. I think that's inevitable, whether it's to places like the South Pacific or Southeast Asia, or even a little later on, I wouldn't be surprised to see the US and the UK become part of the safe travel zones in the next 6 or 8 months, because when they've got things really under control. And it really means to travel, you will need to be vaccinated. To come into Australia, you'll need to be vaccinated, unless you want to 2 weeks quarantine.
Do we need clearer incentive on that in terms of what people will be able to do? Because the latest report suggests nearly a third of Australians either won't or are very unlikely to get vaccinated, and that's adults.
Yeah, I think we do. And I mean, I think that reluctance to be vaccinated is inevitably people are going to put their lives at risk. Because, as I say, the virus is going to get into our community. It is going to spread. Hopefully, if 80% of people are vaccinated, or 70 or 80, it probably won't spread wildly, but it will be around. And if you catch it and you're unvaccinated and you have some sort of underlying condition, you're going to get very sick from it. And it makes vaccination look very attractive, I can assure you.
Just finally, tourism. The government's latest plan post-JobKeeper was to get to tourism to the next stage. Is it going to be a big enough bridge to get maybe to the middle of next year for some?
Look, I don't know. Certainly, post-JobKeeper, all the large travel and tourism organisations haven't received anything from the government, and I'm not sure we will. We're certainly putting some propositions to them over the next month or so. And it's just inevitable. A lot of the small businesses won't survive from this. I think most of the large ones will, if they're most of them are fairly well funded. So, it's going to be a tough 6 to 12 months. But I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as people might be presuming in terms of international borders. I think they'll gradually, slowly but surely open over the next 18 months.
Graham Turner, appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.